YouTubers, welcome to the end of the 2010s. I have absolutely loved this decade. In fact, I can honestly say that it was the best decade of my life. I have lived through the 90s, the 2000s and the 2010s. All of them were awesome, I will admit that. The 90s were an awesome decade, but at the end of the day, I was a child with an easy life. Of course I'm going to enjoy them, but I'm not dismissing them because they still mean something to me. I still have fond memories of the 90s, so not dismissing them at all. The 2000s, also an awesome decade, but I didn't appreciate them at the time really. I had to look back on them and think, yeah, they were awesome as well. But life was awesome in the 2010s. I appreciated them during the actual decade. I was just at my absolute happiest during this decade, and because of that I'm going to go through as many things as I can of what happened that made this year so awesome to me. They are in no particular order, but for those of you who are interested in what year this took place, I will display the year on screen. First of all, this was the decade when I started to be more open-minded. I started appreciating things that I didn't like before, that I didn't even care about in the previous years. I look back on things, I re-watched them, I re-listened to them. I enjoyed them now. I went on several awesome vacations this year. I went to Spain several times. Each time had their awesome moments, especially in 2016. I went to a hotel called Sunset Beach. It was an awesome place, very beautifully designed, awesome entertainment there. I would definitely go again. I really do hope to go again. I absolutely love the place. It wasn't just Spain I went to, of course. I've been to Tenerife twice. I've been to Fuerteventura. All awesome places. Totally recommend them. Definitely go again. They added to the awesomeness of this decade. I managed to get my Give Yourself Goosebumps collection completed. I managed to get all of them at the start of this decade. I even started a review blog about them, which, yeah, I know, I never finished. But I know, maybe next decade it will come back. Maybe I'll start again. I will finish it, I promise you. I just don't know when I'll do it. The point is, I started it, I got those books, loved reading them, they were inspiring in various ways. This was the decade when I started loving all music. It is now impossible for me to dislike a song. The least I'll do is just not care for a bit, but ultimately I will love it one day. That is strange, I know, that's just how I am. Alpha and Omega came out this decade. I absolutely love that movie. It is one of my favourites ever. I have such a nostalgic attachment to it ever since it first came out. And it was so inspiring, such an awesome movie. I'm really glad it came out. I'm really glad I saw it. It means a lot to me, like a lot of things I'll mention in this decade did. My passion for writing was solidified in this decade. It's always kind of been with me, but this was the decade when I decided, yes, writing, that is what I want to do. A writer is what I want to be, and I am going to strive really hard to become one. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic came out this year. For better or worse, that is my favourite show. I absolutely love it. It inspires me. It is one of the things that helped inspire my writing, and you will understand more of that when a certain project comes out. No idea when it's going to come out, but you will get it more when it does. It made me check out the older My Little Pony generations. All of them are super awesome. I love them. I enjoy watching them. I even met my pen pal through this franchise. I have had an awesome time being friends with him. We've even exchanged writing ideas. We are working on at least one project. We may work on more. I hope we do. So if you're watching this, stay awesome. I started watching How I Met Your Mother this decade. I absolutely love it. It's my favourite sitcom. It inspires me. Yes, I know, I get inspired a lot. What can you do? It's just so relatable. It really feels like it was made for me at times. I know it wasn't, but you know what I mean. I'll explain that further in the future video. but that is one of the things I love about this decade. How I Met Your Mother, such a nostalgic show, love it. Final Destination 5 came out this decade, also nostalgic for that. Another movie I love, also inspires me. I finally confessed to my crush how I felt about her. She chose for us to remain friends, but the point is I did it. I've done that now. I can close that chapter. I can move on. That is awesome. Staying on the slightly romantic subject, I went to several awesome weddings this year, one of which I was the best man. It was an absolute honour to be chosen. I absolutely love going to weddings. They are an awesome time. I realised what my favourite song was this decade. I went to Blackpool, had an awesome time there. I went to Butlins, which is a holiday place that I went to when I was younger. I went there again this decade. So many awesome memories and so many new ones. I went to a My Little Pony convention this decade. It was the only one I went to so far. I realised that, but I had such an awesome time. I also went to another convention, not strictly for My Little Pony, but that was pretty much for everything. It started as an anime convention, but then it expanded. I went to so many different places. I went to English holidays. I had such an awesome time. YouTube Rewind came out. I enjoyed every single one of them from 2012 to 2018. You know how I feel about the 2010, 11 and 19 ones. I know not everything can be perfect, but the majority of them, they were. I love them. I know not everyone does, but you know how much I love them. We've done that. On that subject, I became a YouTuber this decade, and now as the decade starts to end, I'm finally starting to make my channel what I wanted it to be. It will continue to become that throughout the next decade. You are going to be seeing a lot more from me. Hopefully more professional than this. I got Disney Channel in my own home this decade. I know that doesn't sound like much, but I missed having it while I was living here, and having it again made me check out not only the shows that I didn't like before, which of course I now do, but a load of shows that I'd never even heard of because I've been away from Disney Channel for so long. It is actually my favourite channel now. I love it. I finally began to find out what certain things I remembered from previous decades were, like a TV show I remembered but didn't know the name of, that kind of thing. I saw some awesome tribute acts. I actually spent time in the studio of what was my favourite radio station at the time. It was planned for me to work there. It didn't pull through, I know, but it was an experience. I will not trade it for anything because I absolutely loved being there. I celebrated my 30th birthday this decade. There were so many awesome shows this decade. Some that came out this decade, some that were from previous decades that I watch now. But ultimately, it was an awesome year for TV, in my opinion. I am super late to the party, but I also got Netflix towards the end of this decade. I absolutely love it. I was dead against it before, but I can still watch TV, I can still watch DVDs and what have you. I've just got an extra way to watch some awesome movies and awesome TV shows. Like everything this decade, I wouldn't trade it for anything now. I would not trade this entire decade for anything. I would love to relive it, but I know I can't. We've got the next decade to look forward to now, and I am sure that it will be an awesome decade. I am sure every decade I have will be awesome, because every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade is as awesome as we make it. We go out there with a positive mind and we get positivity. We have an awesome time. Were there bad times during the 2010s? Of course there were bad times during the 2010s. There were bad times in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the decades that I didn't even experience. There were bad times. There's going to be bad times in the future. I know that. We can't stop them. But there will always be awesome moments as well. And those are the moments that I will always focus on. And it doesn't matter what happens next. It doesn't matter if next decade or the decade after that or any decade ends up being better than the 2010s. The 2010s will always be an awesome, nostalgic decade for me. I will always love them. I will never forget them. And until the next decade, see you around, YouTubers.